Oh, here we go again. Look, whilst I was watching this, I seemingly had a good time. When I came out of this, the same thing that happens after all the long-awaited sequels hit me like a ton of bricks. Look, this is probably the best of the bunch out of all these nostalgic comeback films. Probably the best of the bunch. But that's not saying much, because we have a great deal of crap in the nostalgic comeback movies, long-awaited sequels. This is probably the best of the bunch. It's not truly terrible, but the more I think about it, and the more I just think, did I enjoy this really? You know, it's the same feeling I had with Dumb and Dumber 2, with Ben and Ted 3, with all these films, the long-awaited sequels, the Halloween and the Ghostbusters Afterlife. That feeling in the pit of your stomach, this isn't very good. You know, you get into it and you're like, get into the nostalgia, and then it's just like inside you're slowly dying because you know deep down it's not good. In this Scream movie, the new characters weren't good and the old characters weren't good. Now, I'm going to have spoilers in this video, but I will let you know, and it'll be the end of the video, so I'll let you know then. But these characters mean nothing now. They're tacked on. And you like watching them, and I did enjoy watching them. You know, still, Neve Campbell, Courteney Cox, David Arquette, great performances. And I think one of the strong things about the Scream series is those three. It makes Scream stand out incredibly well amongst so many slasher series. You keep coming back to see these characters and these actors. In a genre which doesn't pride itself on great characters, these are great characters. But here they've got nothing to do. Here they're running out of steam. They're finally running out of steam. Three of the most exciting, fun characters of the 90s and 2000s running out of steam. You like seeing them, but it's like, well, okay, you like seeing them. This is what I'm saying. You're just told to see people now. Like, they're there. Be happy because they're there. Especially Dewey in this. Dewey is shamefully portrayed in this. I'll say that. You're like, you don't want to watch the Scream 1 to 4 and then see Dewey like this. Complete and utter loser. Dewey is closer to Doofy in Scary Movie in this movie, and that's not a good thing. I feel like this carries on a trend which started in Scream 4. Unlikable characters. You know, you watch Scream 1 to 3 and the characters are likeable. They're a little bit annoying, they're a little bit frustrating, but of course you did great. Neve Campbell, Courteney Cox, David Arquette. The rest of them were kind of annoying, but it was kind of the point. The meta was the point. 4 was the first time you realised the meta was being forced. And one of the reasons why you realised that is because they brought it back so many years after Scream 3. What we're learning in this present time of movies and this present time of culture is that you can't just bring stuff back and have it work exactly the same. We don't really care about any of the tricks of the Scream franchise anymore. We don't care about referencing horror movies. We don't care about making jokes about, oh, if I go in this room I might die. We don't care, it's old, it's tired. And the characters are doing that up the arse in Scream 4. Very unlikable in Scream 4, and very unlikable in this. Just constantly talking in meta ways. Look, in Scream 1 to 3, the characters didn't spend the entire film talking in meta ways. In fact, Randy was one of the only ones who really done it. But it kind of makes sense because he was obsessed with horror. Once you get to Scream 4, they kind of missed the point of the franchise. Yes, it was about referencing movies and being meta, but it wasn't just only that. Now these movies are only meta. So once you push meta, you get into the point of parody. You can't have it both ways. You can't have every character in this film going, oh, if I walk out this room, I might die. Come with me. Or, you're going to go and get a beer, I'll be right back. Like, it doesn't make sense. You can't have it both ways. These characters aren't scared for their life. In 1 to 3, because it hasn't been done up the arse so many times, you could have characters make lines like that and still be scared for their life because it wasn't tired yet. Here it's awkward. It's like, we've seen this so much. It's like, are these characters completely stupid? But all the characters don't act like any of this has ever happened. Or they are blasé about it. And again, you can't have it both ways because you have to at least buy into the characters in some way. You have to at least buy them as human beings in some way. And that's what Scream was about. It was about balancing that line. But in Scream 1, and Scream 2 and Scream 3, yes, they were making films of it. But it wasn't done to death yet. In Scream 4, it started to become done to death, and now it feels really done to death. Every 5 years this keeps happening. No measures have been put in place. In fact, it's been promoted. People are just loving it. You know, they've made 9,000 films on this, and they just go, well, it's going to happen in 5 years, isn't it? Be a laugh, wouldn't it? I hate making the comparison, because this is actually quite better than The Matrix Resurrections, which is god-awful. But trotting out the same tricks no longer works. They tried to do it The Matrix. Oh, aren't these tricks cool now? No, they're not cool anymore. Isn't this cool now? This Ghostface stuff? No, it's not cool. Comes across as cringe. We're waiting for something unique, something good, something creative in 2021. We're not looking to just rehash with meta. We're not looking for that. And, you know, we have had some unique and original horror come up. That's what we should be focusing on. Not going backwards all the time, you know, and it may sound like I just completely hate nostalgia, but I don't. Some of my favourite movies are nostalgic. I hate nostalgia when it's so forced. There's no way it can't fail. You know, you have to walk that line, and this is probably one of the best at walking the line of actually doing what these long-awaited sequels try and do, but it still doesn't work.
Fuck you!
I know a lot of people are enjoying this. I understand that. I enjoyed seeing the characters back. You know what? The kills are pretty decent in this. They're alright. The suspense is alright. But, you know, they're not as good as the kills in the other films. They don't have a sense of the energy of the other films. Kind of had a bit of that Halloween Kills thing of Michael just going from place to place killing. Ghostface wasn't very creative with his... He kind of felt a bit cringe with his voices. Who it ends up being in this is very cringe. The opening scene is always supposed to be a crazy, great, memorable scene for Scream, and in the majority of them, didn't really like the opening for Scream 4, but Scream 1 to 3, they're always great, they're high octane, they're exciting. This one was just a normal kill, really. Ghostface was a bit cringe on the phone, like, he wasn't scary, he wasn't intimidating, he was saying really cringe things. It doesn't even sound that intimidating anymore. And it was just a normal kill, a normal slasher kill. So I didn't get, that was a bit of a disappointment, you know, and there was just not really many scenes that stood out. There were some okay kills, but nothing really stood out, nothing really is memorable. I can't really remember much of this film now. I'm going to have to go into spoilers, guys, so if you haven't seen Scream, you don't need to see it. Listen to my spoilers now, because you don't need to watch it. I'll spoil it for you.
Oh, this is the greatest part. You're gonna love this. We got a surprise for you, Sydney.
But obviously Dewey dies. Dewey bites the dust. Now, I don't have a problem with one of those three characters dying, but the thing is, they've been through so much in those Scream 1 to 4. It trivialises it if one of them dies. And if you're gonna kill one of them, it has to be such an honourable death, such a meaningful death, and it's not. It's such a bland death. This is how I describe the death. Shooting the killer, go back to check on him, get killed. How many times has that happened to Dewey or Gale or Sydney in this series? You can't kill him just like that. He needs to go out in a blaze of glory, one of these characters does. And it doesn't help that Dewey's been a complete loser and he's not with Gale, and they've done a Han and Leia where they've separated them for some bizarre reason to just make Dewey a fucking donut who lives alone in a caravan, isolated. Like, and then he just dies. He comes back for a bit, hangs around with the main characters for about 5 minutes, has no lines because he's got nothing to offer, and then dies. And after all his experiences, he shoots the killer. They fall down. He turns away, goes to lifting and goes, oh, I better shoot him in the head. I forgot. Jeez. One of the most bizarre and terrible things in this film, the officers are all guarding the young girl in the hospital bed, and they all flee the hospital. Every last fucker flees the hospital to go and find the sheriff, to go and, you know, have a look at the sheriff being killed, you know, she's being killed. At no point do they go, the sheriff has been killed, let's all fucking go. Sorry, who's guarding this twat? Because we really need to make sure she doesn't die. No. You know, think of the amount that these men would know about what has happened in the past. You don't leave that character. Every policeman leaves the hospital. That's so forced and so stupid and so pathetic. And, you know, every single... What annoys me is they'll go, well, it's just supposed to be a commentary on the stupid cops. Like, everything's a commentary now. No, I need to see some actual human characters with brains. After all that's happened in Woodsboro, you would not leave the victim, the target, or one of the targets, alone every policeman. That's the most... No wonder this shit keeps happening to Woodsboro. I think they want it to happen. That's how fucked up they are. They're forcing these movies out and then they just want to get their characters killed. I don't understand. Billy Loomis being the main girl's dad in this was cringe.
And Billy Loomis, what the fuck?
Now, when it first came out, I was like, oh, that was interesting how they, forced that in. No. It's... No. It's forced bullshit. Think about it. It's like, how can we carry on this franchise? Let's bring in the daughter of Billy from the first film. Like, it's just, you have to keep manufacturing these things and creating these things, and it just becomes cringe. She has visions of Billy, and Billy almost is a protagonist in this film, which just makes no sense. She has visions of Billy and he's trying to actually help her fight back against this killer. Is that all we've got now? We've got to the point where Billy Loomis from Scream is helping the protagonist? What? The Scream 5 trailer makes it look like the Legacy characters are all together and they're kicking ass. That's not what happens here. The Legacy characters are not all together and they're not kicking ass. What do you guys think of Scream 5? I really wanted to like it. You can see there's a video on my channel where I wanted to like it. I'm not just hating on it because it's a long-awaited sequel, but it slips down all those tropes. It's probably the best of those ones, but that just shows how god-awful all the rest have been. I like seeing the characters. I got a little bit of nostalgia, but it doesn't last, doesn't see you through, and you can't see yourself rewatching this. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this video, and if you're a movie geek just like me, please check out the other videos on my channel. I'll see you guys next time, and hopefully I'm not so disappointed.